Good morning. This is Jeff Arnold with Four Spot Consulting. It is Friday, November 7th, 2025, and this is our 5 Minute Friday. As promised last week, I'm going to go through some of the AI browsers and give you an overview, my thoughts, and just give you an idea of what those browsers can do for you. But first, I do want to touch on one industry topic that came up at the Gartner event that was held last week. And that is that Gartner is saying that AI is something that HR executives have to make sure they're showing some sort of ROI for. So, the one thing about AI is that deploying AI in and of itself typically is not going to get you where you need to be as far as an ROI. Automation using AI is what's going to be able to give you that defined metric, because you'll be able to determine that automation has now replaced a 5 minute task that you do 10 times a day across 20 people, etc. So when you're talking about AI and you're working on putting together your plan of what you want to do with AI in your HR space, you need to keep in mind that AI works best when it's partnered with automation. I am in the middle of finishing up right now a 2026 planning guide for HR executives to be able to use the planning guide and have that available for them to be able to look at all the different areas of their business where they could potentially see a good solid ROI by deploying automation and AI. So if you're interested in that, down in if you're on LinkedIn, down at the bottom, just DM me real quick. Let me know that you're interested in that, and I'll make sure you get that right away. But that should be coming out sometime right before Thanksgiving. So now let's go into the browsers that we were talking about. So, I talked about last week, we were going to go in here, we were going to look at the different browsers that were available that were powered by AI. So I'm just going to do a real quick overview today, talking about Chrome, which is my default browser, Atlas, which is the ChatGPT browser, and Comet, which is the Perplexity browser. Now, all of these browsers are built on Chromium, which is the framework that powers Chrome. So you're going to see that these all look very similar whenever you start to use them. The functionality is what's a little bit different. So first I'm going to start, this is just regular Chrome, right? I have all my extensions up here. I have all my bookmarks, etc. I'm a baseball fan, so I figured I would use something on the baseball page. So I'm going to check here and go into this article. Now, let's say that I don't know who this Murakami is. So I can right click and I have some options here. One of my plugins is AI PRM, which I would definitely recommend if you're not using it for ChatGPT, because that gives you the ability to create and save a bunch of different prompts that you can use, as well as using a whole cadre of other prompts that are available. But in here, I don't really have the option to be able to go in and directly search for Murakami. So inside of here, I would have to either go down here and do custom prompt, which is going to pop open ChatGPT. And then in there, it's going to give me the URL of the page that I have, and it's going to give me the name. Now, this is my ARPRM that you're seeing here. So then I could go in and ask whatever question I want to, or I could just hit go. And whenever I hit go, it's going to come in here. It's going to search the web. It's going to give me whatever information it can give me about that guy. Okay. So my usage of this was right click, go into my AIPRM and click custom prompt. It popped open a new window, and then I could either hit enter and it's just going to give me the information it can give me, or I could ask a specific question of it. So again, 2 clicks, I'm in ChatGPT, I'm searching for wherever I want to. Okay. Now, let's see what that looks like inside of this is going to be forgot which one this was. This is going to be my Comet browser. Comet is a Perplexity browser. So inside of here, if I'm on this page, again, same look and feel because it's powered by the same back-end engine. One thing I did not like about the Comet engine was when I installed it, yeah, it took like a 1 minute video and like it was fancy getting set up, but it like insisted like 4 or 5 times. It was asking me, do you want to make this default? Do you want to make this default? It questioned it in different ways, like, hey, do you want to browse ad free? If yes, make it default. And it just kept insisting that it was going to be the default browser, which I didn't want because I was just testing it. But in here, you have the ability, it did bring in, this is the one thing I did like here, it did bring in my extensions that I have. So all the different extensions that I have, not all, but most of my extensions carried across. And then in here, the way that it works, if I want to see information about Murakami, I right click, and then it says you can search Perplexity, right? So just one click. The thing I like about this is that it does pop it open in a side window. So I didn't have to navigate to a new tab. I didn't have to like flip back and forth. It opened it in a side tab so I could easily see the information I wanted here. The one thing I didn't figure out while I was doing this was how I can actually close this tab. It gives me the ability for a new thread. I can open it in a new tab, but even when I come back here, I didn't see, the ability, maybe I can just, not even that, I can't drag it to close it. The only way I was able to get this to refresh, even when I refresh the page, it doesn't close. So I didn't like that aspect that it stayed open the entire time. And I'm sure there's a way. I didn't take a ton of time to dig deep into it. But basically, the reason I didn't dig really deep into the actual functionality of closing the window is because it looks and feels just like Chrome. Whenever I right click, it gave me the ability to go here, which I could do with the extensions that I have already. And there are going to be some extensions that don't carry over. Okay. And then the final browser is going to be this one, which is the ChatGPT browser. So inside of ChatGPT's browser, which is the, sorry about that. I wanted to pull that up on my screen just to be 100% sure that's where I am. That's Atlas. So inside the Atlas browser here, same thing. You can highlight what you want to look at. You can right click. Now this gives you two different options. So in here, you can either search for Murakami or you can ask ChatGPT about Murakami. So when I say ask, it pops open the side window. Again, I like having that side window as opposed to a new tab. But in here, it selects the text, which is basically what happened with my AI PRM prompt that I had. And then in here, you can then put whatever question you want to. So if there's a specific question you have, you can ask it here, and then it will give you the results in the side window. You can close that side window, which I like, because I like to have as much browser space as possible. The other option you have here is that you can hit search. When you hit search, it pops open a new tab, and then it opens up ChatGPT and just puts the name here. And it did not, if you notice that, it did not auto trigger to do the search. So for me, if I'm telling it that I want to search something, I want it to run automatically. When I right click and open, it did not run. Then you have to click go, and then it will say and do whatever search you have. But again, I have that same functionality by using my AI PRM browser extension that I have in Chrome. And even here, it's not even giving me just all the default stuff. It's saying like, what do you want to know? So it's not, to me, it's not super intuitive. And I guess the bottom line of all of the different sections and the different browsers that I tried here, none of them had enough like uniqueness, enough like wow factor for me to actually want to change going from Chrome. I think there are plenty of plugins you can use to replicate what you want. I don't see a need to change right now. Obviously, AI is moving at breakneck speeds. So, next week it could be a completely different format. but yeah, so out of the browsers that I saw, there was nothing that really wowed me with what was going on. The other thing you can do here, I'm going to close out this and go back to my Chrome browser. But when you're in Chrome, if you go into Google and you just click AI mode, it takes you straight into basically AI search. So you don't have to worry about doing a search and then going for more details. You can just go to AI mode and instantly be able to ask anything you want. So it's basically being able to go in and do a search. And when you do a search, Murakami, I'll just put his name in here just so we can see what the equivalent is. But inside of here, it's going to give me all kinds of information about that scenario. So in this case, obviously, we'd need to specify who is Murakami, and in that case, it would be baseball oriented. But you can go in here. It's going to not only just give you that blurb that you get in Google search normally, it's going to give you a more robust breakdown where you can then go into more questions and things like that. So I guess the bottom line to all of that is when I'm working inside of Chrome, where I've worked for a very long time, I have not found yet that one of the AI browsers is worth my time and energy to make the transition Because as with any software, when something's brand new, they are going to work on finding out what people like and don't like, and they're going to work on improving it. I never like to be somebody's beta tester unless I'm specifically going in and asking to be their beta tester for a piece of software. So right now, my thumbs up, thumbs down if I'm doing like the Siskel and Ebert thing from way back in the day. I'm dating myself, but if I'm doing that right now, AI browsers are thumbs down. I don't see the huge benefit. I'd love to get comments from people because, like I said, I didn't dig super deep into it. I went in, I used it from the standpoint of what most people will do when they download the browser and they start working in it, which is there a benefit for me? What is the benefit for me? What is it about this browser that's really going to make me want to change what I do? And for me, there wasn't a big enough lift there to be able to say, wow, this browser is incredible. I have to use this. So if you're, here, if this is on YouTube or on LinkedIn, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say about what you love about the AI browsers if I missed something, because as I said, there's always something that everybody likes about one of the things. So anyway, thanks so much for watching this week. I will be back next week. But if you're interested in that 2026 AI planning guide for HR, please, drop me a comment. I will make sure you're the first on the list to get that. And I'd love to hear your feedback on that as well. Thanks so much.